Welcome to Small Town Breakdown. I'm Brandon Grader.
I'm Elliot Drew.
Thanks for listening to the number one podcast amongst people that were surprised to learn that a curler would benefit from doping. So I've been watching, as we discussed last week, the Olympics started. The 2018 Olympics.
Winter Olympics.
Winter Olympics in
Pyeongchang,
South Korea.
Yes.
Although they don't say South Korea, they just say Pyeongchang. I don't know. Maybe they're like they don't want to offend North Korea. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't follow the politics of North Korea there very much. So, anyways, I've been watching a lot of Olympics. Yeah. So much so that I have on my TV box. I have this feature that after 4 hours of not changing the channel or adjusting the volume in any manner, it shuts off.
Which is smart.
It's smart. It saves energy, whatever it is. It does not shut off my TV, though, which does not make sense. If you're going to shut down my cable company really should figure out a way to shut off my TV at the same time.
Well, they turn on at the same time, don't they, when you hit the power button?
Yeah, exactly. And if I hit the power button to shut it off, they both shut off at the same time. So if they're going to... But I don't think it actually shuts it off. I think it's just like, well, I'm going to have a nap.
It's a sleep mode.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways... It happens. I'm watching the Olympics so much that it'll you've been here now for almost 3 and a bit hours,
yeah,
drinking before we actually hit record. So, by the end of this episode, I'll bet you that this TV the cable box will shut off on its own.
Okay,
because we've been it hasn't changed the channel. Although we have actually we've muted it and unmuted it, and we did actually. I rewound it a little bit. I don't even know if we're watching live. See, we're not even watching live.
Oh, there you go.
We're like
behind. Damn it. Well, there was some happenings, and we had to rewind it to see if there were happenings.
Yeah, we're like a significant amount.
Are we?
Yeah, we lost an end of the game here. No, I'm just kidding. We didn't, but we were like 6 or 7 minutes behind. Let's get this out of the way. Because everybody's going to be talking about this.
Yeah.
Like, everybody in the world.
This is breaking news.
I don't know if it's breaking news on a podcast a couple of years later.
That comes out on Tuesday.
Yeah, in 2 days from now.
But it happened while we were here.
When Elliot first got here tonight, I had the Olympics on, as I do. And they had the ice dancing portion on. What they call the short program for ice dancing, which is... There's figure skating and then there's ice dancing.
I think we're going too much into it.
Okay.
There's ice dancing.
So anyways.
People on skates were flying around.
I was watching because the Canadians are like world champions right now and they're expected to win and blah, blah, blah.
And they did amazing.
I wanted to watch that because I like them. And not that I know them personally. They're like good friends of mine.
Yeah.
But we're Canadian and that's what we do. We cheer for our fellow people. So anyways, we watched their performance. It was great. And then the next team that came up was a team from France.
Yes.
And they're great skaters as well.
And they did a good program.
Unfortunately, they had what
Janet Jackson
Jackson created 10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Happened.
They had a wardrobe malfunction. And what happened is there's a little strap of the woman's dress that went up around the back of her neck, and I think there was probably like clasps there or buttons of some kind.
It came undone.
And at one point you could see she was like skating and doing her thing with her hands, like one hand holding her top on because it was like her boobs were going to fall out. And then, anyways, they finish their thing and they do their thing, and then they're showing highlights.
Yeah.
Because they always do. They're like, oh, here's some slow-mo highlights while we wait for the score. And they showed a bunch, and they were like, oh, that's where her dress broke. And you could actually see it almost like break. And then they cut to the next one, and it's her leaning back. And he's kind of, like when you dip somebody when you're dancing.
Yeah.
And so he's like dipping her over the ice. And we're looking now over top of her head and down her chest type thing, and there's nipple.
Yeah.
Clear as day. We both saw it. And it wasn't like we were purposely looking for it. It was just right there, and we're both men. And it was just like, yep, there's nipple on international live it was live from
Korea.
From Korea.
Now, I'm going to say this right now because when it happened, when there was a wardrobe malfunction with Janet Jackson, they were like, there's a nipple. And as we just saw, there's a nipple.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but I have nipples.
I have multiple nipples.
Yeah, I have more than one. I look at them every day.
Yeah.
My wife has nipples.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but subconsciously while we're recording our podcast, you kind of play with one of them.
Do I really?
Yeah, you're playing with your right one like this all the time. Rubbing it around like you're playing the finger bass, a little bit of nipple bass.
Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a comfortable
It's
space
much like
for
the
me.
people listening to this show. I mean, you do what you got to do to make it through, right?
Seriously, if I play with my nipple,
No. Do you think I would have waited 6.5 years to tell you that information?
dude, I didn't want to bring it up, but when we're recording, you play with your nipple.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only time. The rest of the time, you're like totally professional. I don't even like, we're just like total, like just good friends, and we keep it on the up and up. But for whatever reason, as soon as you put on those headphones, your personality changes and you start playing with your shit. Like, you don't touch your junk. You don't have a nervous twitch. It's just the nipple thing.
It's just the nipple thing.
I don't know.
I didn't want to bring it up but now we're talking about it. So, okay. But there's a whole movement
Free the nipple!
With the free the nipple thing, where like women are like,
we talked about that like 2 years ago.
yeah, like what the fuck? I just want to be able to like walk around and like, I have boobs.
Yeah.
But so do a lot of men.
I've got boobs.
Yeah. And so like just let it be.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of one of those moments where I'm like, I feel for the lady. Like I truly do, because like that's unfortunate. Nobody wants to be in a situation where you're trying to do your thing.
Yeah.
And it obviously affected their skate.
Oh yeah, because they were in second at the end. So they still got a good score, but you could tell that they struggled because of the dress or her outfit. I don't know if it would be a dress. I think it's a dress.
We'll call it an outfit.
Because I don't technically. I think it's like a. What do they call those? Like a leot? No, not a leotard.
Here's the thing: if dude had split his pants halfway through and his balls were hanging out,
yeah, it'd be the same thing.
It's no different.
Yeah.
He'd want to tuck them back in. He'd be a little self-conscious. He wouldn't have his mind on what he's supposed to be doing. He's worried about, and I have been on stage trying to give a performance, and things are maladjusted or whatever. And it
something pokes out and says, hello.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming to this evening's performance.
Or whatever. Like, anything that takes you out of the moment when you were supposed to be concentrating on doing what you're supposed to be doing, it sucks.
Yeah.
And that's what's on your mind. You're like, holy crap. Like, is that, like, what am I going to do? How do I fix this? I just try and get through.
Yeah.
And it affects your performance because that's what you're focusing on.
Well, the thing about it is, too, is like tonight with the Olympic Nipplegate, as they're calling it. I don't think they are, but let's say that they are. It was a pure accident. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake ripped off Janet Jackson's coat or shirt or whatever it was and exposed her boob. She had black tape in an X over her nipple. So, like, to say, oh well, it wasn't supposed to be so. Yes, it was. Like, I clearly watched you rip off her shirt. You exposed her boob. This tonight was pure accident.
Yes,
and there's nothing could be done about it. And everybody's like, well, like you say, it's because nipples, as much as everybody's like, free the nipple. It's still considered a private thing. And really, as much as everybody's like I said, free the nipple, there's a lot of people who are still like, well, yeah, I'm going to free it, but I'm going to free it in the comfort of my own home in front of the people that I'm comfortable freeing it in front of, not an international audience of however many billion people watching my performance at the fucking Olympics ice skating or ice dance final.
So first of all, freaking good on her for pulling what she did, and still a very credible performance.
Yeah, they were in second place still.
Yeah, and
It's fantastic.
well done. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like.
I mean, we're joking about it, but I do.
Whether you want to or not, you're now a meme.
Yeah, I mean, we know you're listening, so we're. It's all just in good humor.
Yeah, but that's the thing is she is now a meme.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? And there's going to be 1,000 images of her tomorrow with a bunch of blurred out nipple being like, rather than talking about what she did or what they were able to accomplish as great athletes, we're going to be talking about how she showed her nipple.
Yeah, and totally
Beyond her control.
Well, and the thing about it is too is like when they were doing the original performance at full speed or as fast as they could be, there's no way we would have seen that. But because it was in slow, it was also partially the director and the whoever doing the switcher, and the editors. It's also partially like they had to have known that nipple was there.
Well, not necessarily. They were showing a moment of the dance, and it just so like
yeah, fair enough. And it's not like it wasn't like her whole breast was exposed and the nipple was like holy shit, there it is. It was kind of like
it's just a peekaboo.
Yeah, it was just like half exposed through the mesh of her outfit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But I feel bad for her because that's the thing. So, that is the whole nipple story.
Yeah.
Bringing it to you a couple days late, but yet at the same
or
time.
Or like a year and a half late.
Live.
Depending on when you're listening to this.
Live.
So,
we were right there.
Getting back to the original.
Yes, your number one.
Number one is there has been a new curling feature.
Yes.
Usually there's teams of 4 women and 4 men, and they do their own respective games. Mm-hmm. This year they've brought in. I've never seen this before. This is the only time I've ever seen this. So I think it's like they may have just invented this game. I don't like.
It just happened.
Yeah, I think they were maybe like, look, we invented this game and it's so fucking bitch ass awesome that we should have it at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And well, when did you invent it? Like on Thursday. Well, the Olympics start on Friday. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's so awesome.
I think it was most probably a little bit before this.
Probably.
It's most probably been going on for a while.
Yeah, because they knew how to score already, and like they seem to be pretty. Like the people that play it seem to be pretty good. So,
however, it is curling, and people are like, okay, so like the curling audience is shrinking.
Yeah,
we got to do something for curling.
Well, I don't necessarily know if the curling audience is shrinking as so much as the fact that a lot of them are getting into the ground now.
So, the curling audience is dead.
Yeah, they're shrinking, but it's by attrition. It's not like they're like, you know what? I'm going to focus my energy on watching hockey, or I'm going to focus my energy on woodwork. They're literally just dying. They're running out of energy. They're like, yeah, look, curling's a slow game, okay? I've been playing this shit for 70 fucking years now.
We've only made it to the fourth end.
Yeah, like I'm done, okay? Speed this shit up.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. They created this. It's called mixed doubles curling. 1 man, 1 woman per team. So still 4 people on the ice, but 2 teams. And what they do is normally with curling, and we're not going to get into it too much because we could let's be honest. I could spend 3 hours talking about curling. That's how much I love curling. Yeah. I don't know why I love it so much, but I just do. So normally in curling, you play 10 ends. I believe it's 10 ends. Each team gets 8 stones to throw, and then whoever has the most points at the end wins, essentially. With mixed doubles, you get 7 ends, a maximum of 7 ends, and you get 5 stones per end, per team. And then again, whoever has the most points wins. So this year, the Canadians won gold.
Woohoo, Canada.
And I think it's the first, I'm pretty sure it's the first mixed doubles gold ever given out.
Yeah. Because
it's such a new sport.
So just in that case, did they set the world record? Like at that point, they're like, Olympic mixed doubles. We won. We own all the records.
Yes.
You know how, like, because there's always these things where they're like, and that's a world record, and oh, that's an Olympic record. But this is the first time that, like, mixed doubles is an Olympic thing. So they're like, you won, you get all the records too.
I don't know how that works for sure, but they would at least have the record of being the first team to win.
Yeah.
But I don't think maybe they don't have like, well, no, I guess they would have to, like, technically if we invent a card game.
Yeah.
And we're like, we don't know for sure because, of course, we're only two people. But with the internet, we do a bunch of research, and we're like, we're the first people that ever played this game. Yeah. So we invented this game. We came up with all the rules and so on and so forth. So if you won the first round of that game, then technically you would be the world record holder for this highest score in that game, would you not?
I would think so.
If you invent a video game and you're the first person to play it, even if you get 3 points, you're the world record holder for that video game.
That's
right?
true.
So I would assume it would be the same with all sports.
But like the difference is this sport obviously has been invented. Like, people have been playing it for a while.
But it's a new version of the sport, though.
Well, no, but even if, like, to make it to an Olympic level, like remember when they had, like, ski dancing as an Olympic sport?
Sadly, I do.
All right. And it was actually kind of cool.
It was not. Knock it off.
No, there was some pretty neat shit that they used to do with their, like, where they stab their poles in the ground and then do weird spins over top of them and stuff.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Like, it wasn't, like, the world's most riveting sport.
Yeah.
But there was some pretty dope-ass shit, and they all had mullets because it was
dope-ass shit. How many fucking beers have you had, man?
Well, I'm going back to the
Dope-ass
vernacular of the
shit.
day of ski dancing.
I'm pretty sure dope-ass shit wasn't one of the things that Ski Dancer said.
Yeah, because it was back in, it was, the 90s?
I think it was like,
early
I think
90s.
they had it in 1988 in Calgary.
Yeah.
So that's like late 80s.
Yeah, so it's
I
late
think
80s.
1988.
It was only 2
Yeah,
years.
That's like late 80s.
Because I saw a thing on it the other day. It was 2 Olympics, so it lasted 8 years.
Okay.
There was that thing, and then they got rid of it. They were like, you know what? Nobody really cares about ski dancing.
No.
Well, because I think that's when, like, at that point, snowboarding had come out and was now a thing, and people were like, ski dancing's kind of boring compared to, like, people doing fucking, whatever the hell weird ass tricks they call snowboarding. Like, I don't even know the name of the tricks.
Ski ballet,
Yes.
later renamed acro ski, was a freestyle skiing discipline from the 1960s until the year 2000. Get the fuck out of here.
And in 2000, they're like, stop it. Just
Yeah,
stop.
knock
that
it
shit.
off. This sport doesn't exist anymore.
We are done.
42 years was enough, okay?
I don't care how much you've practiced. It's over. You can't do it anymore.
So it was a demonstration sport in the 1988 and 1990. So we were fucking right.
Yeah.
We nailed that one. The sport has significantly declined in popularity in recent years due to the fact that it did not become an Olympic sport. There was an international ski federation. Oh, it must be like the ski federation must be like all skiing
thing.
okay.
Like, if you have 2
I was going to
planks
say
on your-
there was an international ski dance federation, but then I misread that.
Yeah.
Ceased all formal competition of ski ballet after the year 2000 is what it says.
Yeah.
So there
Now,
you go.
If you ski ballet, you do it on your own fucking dime,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, it's amateurs only.
We don't give a shit
Yeah,
about ski ballet.
ski ballet amateur. That's like when you watch porn
Yeah.
and you want to watch professional porn, you just type in lesbian whatever.
Yeah.
And it gives you like professionally made produced porn. But if you just want to watch like people who could be your neighbors,
Yeah.
you got to type in amateur first.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
Well, I don't think if like you typed in ski ballet at this point in time, even if you typed in amateur ski ballet, I think it's the same level of ballet. Like, it's the same level of like difference between like,
fair enough.
there's like a camera set up in the corner that doesn't quite catch all the action. Because nobody's filming that shit anymore. It's like one dude out there, he's like, I'm totally keeping this shit alive. back in the 80s, because that was the other thing, is I watched a thing, and they were like, do you remember ski ballet?
Yeah.
And there was like, everybody had a mullet
Yeah.
that was doing it. And I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh, that's...
Even the women.
I'm like, that's totally the Calgary Olympics, because, well, that was a big deal back in the day, the Calgary Olympics. So I remember when they came in with the fringe. Remember Canada all had like like a white,
like an Ozzy
fringe.
Osbourne shirt.
Yeah, and the cowboy hats, the red cowboy hats, and the white.
Didn't they have white gloves?
I can't remember if it was. I thought it was red gloves.
Yeah, I know they had. It was white and red, of course, because those are our country. I should look it up. That's what I should do.
Yeah, but they were like horrible outfits. But at the same time, in that moment, we were all like, "Yeah, we a fucking cowboy nation." And I was like, "Why? I don't like." I lived in Ontario at that point, and I'm like, "Why? Why is all of Canada like trying to be like bad Burt Reynolds freaking cowboys?"
Yeah, it was very strange.
It just didn't make sense to me.
Okay, so it was red pants, white shoes, like nurses' shoes. It looks like almost. With red pants with little black, like almost like a little half moon type black little highlight thing, and then like a full body length trench coat.
Yep,
red. It was all red, and then it had white sort of shoulders with the white fringe coming off of that. So that's what the.
Oh, and white cowboy hats.
White cowboy hats, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just remember I knew there was fringe, and it was and they had cowboy hats, and I was kind of like,
there's another picture of them. They're very horrible.
They're almost like drover coats.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but
very, and then
fringe.
like red gloves. They had red gloves.
Yeah.
Pretty horrible. Disgustingly horrible.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, that's one thing about the Olympics. I've never understood Canada's uniforms. Like, I understand the red and the white.
Yeah.
But we've never had a uniform where I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That looks amazing. Vancouver 2010 was pretty decent. But I've never been like, that's amazing. I want it. Like, I want a jacket like that.
I think the problem with Canada is we're too many regions.
Yeah.
That make up we're a massive country.
Yes.
We really are. Like, we're huge. We're one of the largest geographic countries in the world, and we're
second largest.
We're few people in that country.
Yeah.
Like, really, for the amount of space we have, it's ridiculous how few people live in this huge country.
Like, you know that expression when you live in a small house and they say there's not enough room in here to swing a cat?
Yeah.
We could swing a house. We have enough room if we stretched out enough. I can't remember how many millions of square acres there are in Canada, or square kilometers. But I think it was like if we were to spread everybody out and put each person in like the center of one of those square kilometers, a bunch of them would be in lakes.
It's good that a bunch
we'd drown a bunch of people.
So a bunch of them just drown.
Yeah,
because we have a lot of fresh water. But I think, like, geographically speaking, I think like we all almost get our own square kilometer.
I think we do.
Like, still to this day, like, I think there was a point in time where we got like 2 kilometers, but I think now we get like a square kilometer.
Okay, so how many people do we have?
I think it's like 37 million.
Okay, so we don't have enough to do that.
Which is not quite like, it's still like we don't even make a New York City.
Okay, so let's do this. So we are, how do you do, so we would have to divide the area by the people, right?
Yeah, so like you look up how many square kilometers.
It's roughly 10 million square kilometers.
Okay, so how many people are in Canada?
Okay, so
Canada population. Let's Google that shit.
Okay.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I already did the other one, and you're already 5 beer in, so. 36. Let's say 36.3. Let's say 36 million.
Okay.
So 36 million. So roughly, you'd get about a third of a kilometer, square kilometer, each. Like
So that's
a lot of land.
That's like 333 meters
Yeah.
squared.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not 2 meters.
Okay. So there's. Oh, shit. Let's do it this way. What did we just say? 330 meters squared?
Yeah.
Okay, 330 square
333.
meters.
That's pretty much what we figured out.
Square meters is point. No, that can't be right.
Welcome to Small Town Breakdown does math.
The problem is
And
that
not well.
like you not doing it well after 5 beers is fine. I'm stone cold sober right now because I have a doctor's thing tomorrow morning. So this is what does it like. This is a demonstration of the failure of public education. Okay,
I don't think that's true because here's the thing: public education was how long ago?
Oh fuck yeah, like 25 years ago.
Yeah. You can't blame public education for you not being able to math anymore.
Yeah, but I can though because I know I can do pluses. Pluses.
I can do pluses and minuses.
I can do addition and subtraction and multiplication and that kind of stuff, but I can't like figuring out area. Like nobody knows how to do that shit off the top of their head.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
It's length times width, dude.
No.
It's like one thing times another thing.
Okay, so 300. Oh no, but we got to do 0.3.
What do you mean? Why are we 0.3ing shit?
Well, because we're trying to divide. I'm trying to figure out how many square meters makes an acre. Is what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, you need a conversion calculator.
Well, I'm on Google. That's what I.
Yeah.
So if I put 333 square meters, and then the other one is acres, it gives me 0.082. So, not even like that's not even half of an acre.
Dude,
that can't be right.
Sure it is. 0.3 of a square kilometer equals.
So if we go, it was 0.08 times 36 million. 2.8 million. So that can't be right because we were 10 million square kilometers.
Yeah.
So that's wrong. So let's do this. So if we go 10 million.
Yeah.
Let's just do it on a calculator. Fuck Google. So 10 million square kilometers divided by 35 million.
Well, let's go with 36 million. Like, that's actually the population.
36 million.
So 10 million square kilometers
equals about a quarter acre. It's 0.2777, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's about let's say about a quarter of an acre each.
Which was right.
Yeah. So not including all the people we lose right off the beginning by drowning.
But in the lakes. Yeah.
So where were we going with that?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about how
we can swing a cat.
Because we were talking about regions and the costume. So they put everybody into these uniforms, and it was very Calgary-ific. Mm-hmm. At that time, that like the kind of Calgary had this kind of Wild West cowboy. Well, they still do. They have the Calgary Stampede every year,
and let's remember it was the late 80s.
Yeah, where everybody was dumb.
Well, like rock bands. Like, do you remember like some of the big like hair bands of the day? They had fringe all over the fucking place.
Fair enough, yeah.
And we all thought that was cool.
I never did.
You totally did.
No, I didn't.
You were
Don't
like,
be stupid.
You thought that was back then. In that moment, you were like,
no.
If I could get me some fringy shit.
No. You've met my father. You know my dad. There's no way I was wearing fringe shirts.
Yeah. No way you'd wear them, but deep down inside, you were like, man, if I
No.
only had a fringe shirt.
No.
Chicks would dig me.
The first album that I ever bought was fucking Beastie Boys' License to Ill.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of music I listen to. I didn't listen to, like, the closest thing I ever got to hair metal bands was Guns N' Roses and Metallica. I didn't listen to, like, I know of these bands, but I didn't listen to fucking, like, Whitesnake and Bon Jovi and fucking Skid Row and all, like, I know of, like, all these
Van
bands.
Halen and Poison and
Yeah,
all
I
this
never,
stuff.
like, of course I've heard some of their music, but, like, the only Poison song that I can actually name is, what's that ballad one? About the, Every Rose Has a Thorn?
Yeah.
That's Poison, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the only song of theirs I can name.
Oh.
I can't name you a Bon Jovi song except for Wanted Dead or Alive, and that's only because it's from one of the greatest fucking movies ever made, Young Guns 2. Okay? That's the only reason
Young
why.
Guns 2.
Yeah.
I love the way you got to clarify that. Young Guns, it's all right, but Young Guns 2, best movie ever.
Well, you know, sometimes the sequel outshines the original, okay? But, like, I never listened to that kind of music, so I was, like, the closest thing that I ever would have actually, now thinking about it, way I ever would have been exposed to tassels, was my dad's best man at his wedding, at both of his weddings, was a massive Elvis Presley fan.
Oh.
So much so that when we used to go and visit him, like we'd go on the weekend or whatever, he had a velvet portrait of Elvis.
He had a Velvet Elvis?
Yeah. And it hung in like a place of honor. Like, I think later in life it got taken down and was like replaced with his grandkids' portrait. But it pretty much, it was there. But like, he had this fireplace. It was kind of like a pimp fireplace, actually.
Because you know how pimps, they're all like, you know what
Well,
I need?
you know,
A
like,
fireplace.
When you think about it, like a 70s movie, like you're
Yeah.
watching a movie from the 70s and you think about a fireplace,
Yeah.
he had one of those fireplaces.
Oh.
Like, it was
So,
kind of like a,
to me, weirdly enough, all those fireplaces are in porn.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he was a swinger at some point. I don't know. But it was one of those kind, you know, it was like a pedestal and it kind of was like orangey type thing. And it had this little wire, like mesh, almost like chainmail armor
Yeah.
kind of door grate thing that would go around and it would, you know, had these little rod things that guided it or whatever. So just like a porn fireplace, that's what he had. But right beside it, where the chimney went up through the ceiling, there was the Elvis portrait, and it hung there for like, well, they just moved out of that house, I know, like, I'm going to say like 4 or 5 years ago. And because his health got to be too bad, he couldn't live there anymore. And I'm pretty sure they probably still have that picture. Like, if I was to go and ask him, he would probably still have it.
Oh,
Because, I mean, when you're an Elvis fan, you don't stop being an Elvis fan.
nobody stops being an Elvis
Yeah.
fan.
I mean, other bands come and go, but once you discover Elvis, I mean, you're there for life. There's actually a warning on his album. Do not get too deep into this, or you're here for life. Much like prison and being a peanut butter fan.
Those are the three constants of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. If you go to prison, you're there for life.
Just there for life.
If you eat peanut butter, you're there for life.
Yeah.
And if you eat Elvis, or if you like Elvis,
If you eat Elvis.
if you discover, it's not even if you discover Elvis, because there's been a few close calls with Elvis, like
Yeah.
where people listen to it and they hear Suspicious Minds, and then they hear Hound Dog, and
Yeah.
then they get like halfway through.
the 69 comeback tour.
I'm gonna say one other Elvis song that I can't think of a name for, Jailhouse Rock. They get halfway through that and then they have to stop because they know
Yeah,
if they go all the way on that third song,
that's it. They're in.
Yeah, they have to commit. It's much like committing to being in church or a serial killer.
Yeah.
Once you go to your third church meeting or your third murder, I mean, you got to commit to that shit. It's one or the other.
It's all in threes, baby.
Yeah. It's the power of three, man. Three's the most powerful force in the universe.
Because if you only murder 2 people, you're just a double murderer. But 3, that's serial,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah, after that third, they can discover patterns and they can figure out some shit.
That's it.
Possibly catch you.
Yeah. And 3, like really, you go the first time to church, it's God. The next time is Jesus Christ. By the time the Holy Ghost gets you, you're done.
Yeah, exactly. So see, that's why the Holy Ghost is last, because he's like the ringer. He brings you in. He's like the closer of the deal.
Yeah. You go in for God.
Holy Trinity.
Yeah, Trinity.
Yeah, see, there you go. Power of 3 again.
Power of 3, man.
Striking.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get
horrible times.
religion, murder, and Elvis.
Yeah.
It's all the same shit.
So this Russian curler.
That's a long drag, man.
we're going to talk about this Russian curler if it kills us.
So one sec. Let's just quickly recap to bring us back to the curling. So there's a curler. We talked about it. There's curling. There's regular curling. Now there's mixed doubles curling?
Doubles curling.
Mixed doubles curling that has happened, and we explained how that happens, and now it's happening, whether you want it to or not. 2 people are just curling, and they're men and women together on the same ice. And this has happened because the Canadians won gold, but the Russians won
bronze.
Yeah.
So they his name was Alexander Krushnitsky.
Just quickly, because it's
okay. First off,
one sec.
We got to get into this too.
Oh, okay.
The Russians were actually banned from this Olympics.
Yeah,
because of a massive doping scale. They said there was like over 1,000 people involved
as a country,
as an entire country. Yeah, like Putin was like, "Look, just give them the drugs." I can't do a Russian accent.
I just want to. What was the number? Because we're now like 45 minutes away from the number 1.
The number 1 was
we're trying to recap
amongst
this.
people that were surprised to learn that a curler would benefit from doping.
Okay,
so at this year's Olympics, the Winter Olympics, the Russian Federation was actually banned. They said, "You know what? Fuck you all. Niet."
Niet to Russia. So how are Russians even competing?
Because what they did is they allowed them an exemption. Each individual athlete was allowed to file for an exemption. So certain athletes, like the bodybuilders, like, let's be honest, how a bodybuilder is going to, like, come on. We know. Like, it's obvious. Like, come on.
Like, dude, you're shooting some more.
Vlad, look, Vladimir, we understand, okay? Like, we get it. It's a competitive sport. We get it. But certain people, like figure skaters and skiers and stuff, like, they were allowed to be like, hey, like, I had nothing to do with this. I wasn't even involved with the official Russian Federation at that point, so I shouldn't be fucking tarred with the same brush, right? I should be allowed to still compete and do my thing. So I shouldn't have to face the same ramifications for these people's doping in the past.
Which is fair.
Fair enough. So they allowed them to file individual, and they reviewed them all case by case. They were like, no, you're out. No, you can come in. You're out, blah, blah, blah. So that's fine. And a lot of people are like, well, the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, didn't go far enough. They should have actually said, no, you're fucking done. Unfortunately, that's what you get for being Russian. Okay? There's nothing we can do about it. Yep. Be born in a different country.
Your nation cheated.
Yeah. There's people here from Jamaica, for crying out loud. Like, be born from Jamaica.
And they didn't cheat.
Exactly. They earned their way here. So anyways, they allowed them to play, or to compete, I mean. And what they're calling them is Olympic athletes from Russia. So if they win a medal, there's no Russian flag. There's no, like, they just put up an Olympic flag. There's no Russian anthem. There's no nothing like that. So all of these people have been competing, and some of them have been winning. Like the Russian,
good athletes.
The Russian team for men's hockey is actually favored to win the tournament because they're fairly decent at it. So today it was announced that Russian curling medalist who won the bronze medal in the mixed doubles, which is the one with the men and the women, has left the Olympic Village, and this is on the good old Reuters. Surrendered his accreditation after being suspected of testing positive for a banned substance, a Russian Olympic delegation official said on Monday. Delegation spokesman Konstantin Verbrobnyov told Reuters that such and such, who won bronze with his wife in mixed doubles curling, was awaiting the result of a B sample that is expected later on Monday, so tomorrow. Well, it's Monday there now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could be fine. This curling game is still going.
They're in the 11th end.
So it says that they suspect him of testing positive for meldonium, a banned substance that increases blood flow and improves exercise capacity in athletes. So there you go. So I guess if you can get more blood flowing through your body,
you're better
faster
at curling.
I guess so.
The slowest game. Curling is the golf of winter sports.
Yeah, like I don't understand the benefit of how that would increase your ability to curl.
But
yeah,
maybe you just they're like, hey, do you know if you are Russian, you take the drugs. This is what we do in Russia. You take them. Hey, it doesn't matter if you're just curling.
Yeah,
you take the drugs because you are Russian. This is what we do.
This ain't no Jamaica. We don't fuck around here.
You take the drugs, or otherwise you don't come back to Russia.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, I'll take the drugs. You'll be all right. I'm a curler. What the fuck are they going to test for?
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, by
we
the way,
test for all the stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you win. You still have to pee in a cup if you win a medal.
Because
that's the whole thing. Like, that's one of the things.
Yeah,
as soon as you win a medal, you have to pee in a cup.
Yeah, as soon as you win, they don't there's somebody who basically is attached to you. So you're not allowed to go and pee. You're not allowed to do nothing until you pee in that cup.
Yeah.
And if you don't pee in that cup, if you refuse, which is your legal right to do that, you are legally allowed to refuse.
You'd be like,
you instantly forfeit your medal.
Yeah.
And most of these athletes, they've trained their whole lives for this shit. So
they know.
So they're like, yeah, it's part of the thing. It's what we do, blah, blah, blah. So now the fact is, this is what baffles me. They're testing for molybdenum, whatever it is I said. I can't get my doctor to test for to see if I'm allergic to milk. And yet, at the Olympics, they're testing to see if this guy's got molybdenum in his fucking body.
Yeah.
Maybe what needs to happen is I got to get milk banned by my IOC, and then it won't be such an issue.
I feel like if you can just find an Olympic sport to compete in, period,
then I'd get all kinds of tests.
You get tests all over the place.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Just think, we just have to petition for the right sport.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that would work. I wonder what sport I could compete in. Wheelchair curling. I could do wheelchair curling. That'd be awesome.
Is there but that's a Paralympic sport?
Yeah, well,
I'm sure they.
I'll cut off a leg to.
But here's the thing: if you're a
obesity is a thing.
But if you're a Paralympian, right? There's a lot of Paralympian. They're I have to take shit.
I think they probably have a different list because there are a lot of different conditions that people do compete with, and they require different pain meds, and they require so on and so forth. So I imagine there's probably a list of banned substances for quote unquote the normies, and
The quote unquote fucking normies.
and then for the Paralympic athletes, I'm sure there's they probably have different.
That's going to
lists.
be a different. Yeah, I would think it has to be because there's like people are like, that's just shit I got to take so I can fucking deal with my life.
But on the other, it's not like I don't know for sure, and forgive me if I'm wrong if somebody has an answer to this, but I don't know for sure. I don't think the Paralympics has like wheelchair bound people who have like spina bifida and who are like taking a lot of pain meds or something like that that kind of a condition.
Yeah.
I think for like most of the Paralympic athletes, they have some sort of a form of a disability that causes them to be not able like to have to compete at the Paralympics, but they're still able to be athletes. You know what I mean? Like I'm not wording it very well, but
See, I don't think so because depending on what because there's lots of that's the great thing about one of the very great things about the
but then they also
Paralympics.
have the Special Olympics too, though. So that's where I'm getting confused.
Well, and I think the
like
special.
where's the line of
I think the difference is in the Special Olympics is more about
developmental condition.
No,
like
I think it's
mental?
more like the joy of competing is different than we're actually competing.
Okay.
Where in Special Olympics, it's about being able to make the effort.
Okay.
Whereas I think in, because no matter what you like, if you're depending on where you're at in your life, being a Paralympian there's something standing in the way from going to the Olympics, whatever that happens to be. But you're competing on a different level
Okay.
than a Special Olympian, where it's more about the joy of competing. Right? We're competing to compete, of course, but at the same time, being able to show up is the key.
Okay. Here, I just looked it up.
Yeah.
According to SpecialOlympics.org, they have a fact sheet, and it says Special Olympics and Paralympics. What's the difference? Special Olympics and Paralympics are two separate organizations. They are similar in that they both focus on sport for athletes with a disability and are run by international nonprofit organizations. Apart from that, Special Olympics and Paralympics differ in three main areas: the disability categories of the athletes they work with, the criteria and philosophy under which athletes participate, and the structure of their respective organizations. Special Olympic, and then it says there's three different things. The athletes. Special Olympics welcomes all athletes with intellectual disabilities, ages 8 and older, of all ability levels to train and compete in 32 Olympic-type sports. To be eligible to participate, athletes must have an intellectual disability, a cognitive delay, or development disability. That is, functional limitations in both general learning and adaptive skills. Paralympics welcome athletes from 6 main disability categories: amputee, cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, visually impaired, spinal injuries, and l'autres, which is French for the others, a category that includes conditions that do not fall into the categories mentioned before. To participate in the Paralympic Games, athletes have to fulfill certain criteria and meet certain qualifying standards in order to be eligible. Okay, so to me, that translates into somebody with a missing leg can be a Paralympic athlete. Somebody with Down syndrome would be a Special Olympic.
Yes.
Special Olympian.
However, someone with Down syndrome could be a Paralympian
if they met the qualifying, because there's different levels of Down syndrome, of course.
Yeah.
But
they have to meet the qualifying standards.
They have to be able to compete and do the qualifying rounds and all of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between. Yeah. I did not know that until I just looked it up.
And so in that sense, somebody with a Special Olympics is actually less likely to be on some kind of drug.
Yes.
Than somebody in the Paralympics.
Yeah.
To a certain, I would think, because you're not. There's no issues. You're just, your life is a very different life.
Yeah, you were just born with a developmental condition.
Yeah.
Or condition.
Yeah, your life. You live your life in a different way.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody that's had a spinal injury could be on a lot of different medications for whatever reason.
Yeah.
To help them with that, to live healthily during that period, especially if you're pushing yourself physically.
Yeah, to be an athlete.
To be an athlete. Like, let's be honest, the more you push your body, great for you. Like, it's awesome. Like, you're most probably in parts of yourself very strong, but that's going to cause other issues.
Yeah.
So you could have to be medicated for that.
Like, I always, I'll be honest, I don't watch the Paralympics, but that's usually because I'm so burned out by the end of the regular Olympics that I'm like, no, I'm done. But I actually commend the Paralympic athletes and Special Olympic athletes more in a sense because they don't have the luxury of a fully functioning, for lack of a better word, regular type body. A skier with one leg automatically has that disadvantage to their sport and compared to somebody with two legs, as an example.
Yeah.
So I think there's just that much more struggle and that much more determination from Paralympic and Special Olympic athletes.
There's parts of it, though. Have you ever watched?
Not to say that regular Olympic athletes don't have determination too, but you know what I mean.
Have you ever watched a game of wheelchair basketball?
Yeah, they're fucking brutal.
It's
Those
way
dudes
more
are brutal.
It's way more brutal.
Yeah,
way more. I was actually watching the other. They were showing para athletes playing hockey.
Yeah, the sledge hockey.
The sledge hockey.
Yeah, those are brutal too.
Holy. Like, I thought regular hockey is pretty brutal. I'm way more interested now in watching those, like, because they're on one, like, it's one, like.
Yeah, I think there's two, actually.
There's two, but they're pretty close together.
Yeah, they're only a few inches apart. And they sit underneath it, and it's kind of like a little, well, it's called a sledge, but it's like almost like a cart,
and they've
but
got,
with no wheels.
And they've got two sticks.
Yeah, with little spiky things on the ends of them.
So they can, like, they use
push themselves along.
They push themselves, and then they use the sticks as the hockey sticks to, like, steer the puck.
Yeah.
Watching those guys handle the puck, holy crap, that's cool.
And the thing about it is, I think, like, I don't know 100%, but I think they play on the same size ice as a regular hockey game.
Yeah, that's got to be exhausting.
So they must be, like, their arms must be just fucking dead by the time they're done.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if the games are the same amount of time or whatever it is. I just don't know enough about it. But I'm, like, just the physical effort. Well, the physical effort of getting to the rink is that much more difficult for
I'm just going to say, like, I watched that game, and I'm like, I want to play that game. Like, I like I like ice skating.
Yeah.
I'm not that great at it.
Yeah.
But then I watch, I'm like, just as a general, like, I'd like to do that. I want one of those sledges to, like, just ride around it.
Yeah.
Like, and I know my legs are fine, and I could most probably, I can stand up and skate. But why, and I get, but why as an able-bodied person can't I ride around on that?
Yeah.
That looks fun.
That's like I've seen on television shows where they're like, we're going to go and hang out with the such and such men's wheelchair basketball team.
Yeah.
And the host, who has two functioning legs, will play with them, and he's like, I don't know how you guys I'm dead, and I've only been playing for 3 minutes. And they, like, play like an hour-long game, and I always think that's funny to watch.
But at the same time, I'm like, I would like the opportunity just to ride around in that shit because it looks fun.
I'm sure that, I don't know if they have it here, but I'm sure somewhere, maybe in bigger communities, they actually have that. Like, you could probably, as a thing, you could probably go and actually practice that and learn about it. Because I'm sure a lot of organizations are very open to showing people their their organizations and what they do.
It looks brilliant. I actually I'm way more interested in some aspects in that hockey than I am in regular hockey.
Yeah.
I'm like, that looks fucking cool. I went and Googled some footage.
Yeah.
Like I saw this commercial and that's literally what it was.
Was the one with the little boy where the dad's like, it's like a fucking emotional commercial, man.
No,
Not that one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it was there was a commercial and everybody else was playing regular hockey and then this guy comes up and he's like, I'm playing in my sledge.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, what the hell?
Because the commercial. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I knew there was a thing, but I never actually it was just puck handling.
Yeah.
Literally just the way this guy was handling the puck as he came through. I was like, holy fuck, man, I got to see that.
There was the commercial. It's for the Olympics. The Canadian Tire, the store we talked about last week, has this great campaign. It's called "We All Play for Canada," and then we'll get out of here. And their whole thing is like everybody in Canada is playing for the same thing. And in this one commercial, it shows this dad. Well, we don't know he's a dad, but there's this guy, and he's out on the pond, and he's in a sledge, and he's got the two sticks, and he's like falling over, and he's getting mad at himself, and he finally figures it out. And then the next thing it cuts to is him carrying a boy through the snow in his arms, and he puts him into the sledge, and he teaches him how, and the boy's got a big smile on his face and everything. And then it cuts back to the mom standing on the patio with a cup of hot chocolate, and the wheelchair's sitting there, like the little boy's wheelchair, and it's like a full-on motorized one and the big fancy ones. And it's just like, when it cuts back to that mom sitting beside the thing, you're just like, God damn it.
You're like, the dad just learned how to do this shit so he could teach his son.
Yeah, because he didn't want to, you don't want to exclude his son from something just because of his disability, right?
Oh.
So it's just and then there's that whole, we all play for Canada. I was like, motherfucker, I'll play for Canada.
I did play for Canada, man.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
All right.
You got to go home and sober up. For Small Town Bringdown, I'm Brandon Grader.
I'm Elliot Drew.
Thanks for listening to us talk shit about shit.
I grew up in a real small town. Main streets, there was no one around. Skipping school, smoking pot in the sun. Remember days when we were young. I grew up, got a beautiful wife. I brought a son into...
This has been a Lunchbox fabrication.